being here with tonight. And thanks for your services, Governor, great border state of Canada, a good friend of Canada. And thank you for what you're doing in the administration. Sherpa Van Couverden, thanks for winning a gold medal for Canada. Thank you for doing your service in the cabinet. Sherpa from Mexico, thank you as well for being here, everyone, tonight. I do want to just linger, though. Victor, there we go. We've got Canada's man at FIFA. Now, I'm just going to actually mention something that there was the draw and the names of all the teams and everything. And the President Sheinbaum and President Trump and I were talking as the draw is coming up. I don't think they'll mind. Gianni might mind I tell this story, but I'm going to tell the story anyway. It's too late now. I got to tell the story. And Paraguay comes up. Paraguay gets picked. And I said, well, Paraguay, they're good. They're good. But don't worry. Don't worry, Mr. President. President Trump says, okay, so they're good. I said, but don't worry, they're not. No, they won't be, because they're supposed to be, you're D, so they'll be in C. And then one of the rules kicks in and they get moved over to D. So Paraguay's in the U.S. And the president's like, well, that's not good. And I was like, don't worry. These are just recommendations. We have to sign off on them. Gianni was not. He didn't find that as funny as the rest of us did. And you know the way the president sometimes gets something in his mind? He kept coming back to that as we were going on. So look at the draw as being indicative. It's indicative, the draw as it is. But, you know, this is about the beautiful game. It's about the world coming together. Sharing values is about peace as well, and that's true. It is such a unifying event. It is also about winning, though, and there is an element of winning. And so my last acknowledgement I want to make before I go into my 20-minute speech is of the ultimate winner in my lifetime, which is Wayne Gretzky, the great one. Wayne, thank you for being here. Janet, the greater one, for being here. Their son, Tristan, the next one, thanks for being here as well, though. But in all truth, if you grow up in Canada, certainly if you grew up as I did in Edmonton, and you saw just commitment, excellence, day in, day out, whether it was an exhibition game or a final game of the Stanley Cup, the class and leadership, and these are the values that come down. I'll say one other thing. Say one other thing in my acknowledgements. I'll just make one other point before I go into the speech, which has been carefully prepared and went off script. But just a sign of the ties between our nations. Our coach, Jesse Marsh, who is here, one of the great American soccer players. And there he is. Just out of eyesight, and dedicating to Canada. And you will find no fiercer patriot than Jesse. Canadian patriot for Jesse, to be clear. Okay, but why are we here? We are here to light this tree. And I'll just say a few words about this, because not everyone knows the full story of this. The story of this tree began in a tragic moment in Canada's history, 1917, and the Halifax explosion. A steamship loaded with explosives collided with another ship. It caused the largest non-nuclear explosion ever seen, or felt, I guess, unfortunately felt. 2,000 people died, hundreds more brutally injured, blinded by the glass. And what happened, and it has to be said, before Ottawa could respond, that's all changed now, but before Ottawa could respond, the people of Boston responded. They got a train, doctors, nurses, medical supplies, food, and they made it to Halifax to begin the rebuilding and treat the wounded. And that's friendship. Unsolicited, outpouring. And the people of Halifax, people of Canada, have not forgotten that kindness. And ever since that moment, a tree has been sent to Boston it's lit there. And a few decades later, the tradition began here. It's also true, I think I'm right in saying, no one checked their phones, that you have the highest concentration of Boston Bruin fans in Nova Scotia in Canada. This is true. This is true because of that reach out. So this is a tradition that's existed for generations, and we're all privileged to be part of it. Et il y a une cancée de sapin. Une cancée de sapin de Noël de Nouvelle-Écosse. C'est une grande
of the Nova Scotia Christmas tree. It's a big job in Canada, and the Council begins their search 6 months before the event in order to find the best tree for Washington and Boston. And there are families everywhere, all over Nova Scotia, who try to get selected, to have their tree selected.
This year's choice of the Tree Council comes from the DeLong's family farm in Lunenburg County on the south shore of Nova Scotia. A great place to holiday, I might add. You know, the holidays bring in to perspective the ties that we have, the ties of families, the ties across borders, the ties of friendship, and the common values that we share. And I can think of no better event to bring together the values that football represents, the beautiful game, the values that the holidays represent, and the values that Canada, the United States, and Mexico share. We will be welcoming the world in the shape of 48, well, I guess 45 teams. We've already welcomed ourselves. We'll welcome 45 teams. We are looking forward in Canada, assuming that the draw stays the same. Gianni might have missed that bit of the speech. Assuming the draw stays the same, Canada will be welcoming Qatar, which put on an absolutely extraordinary World Cup just under 4 years ago. Well, 3 years ago, I guess it was, right? 3 years ago exact, yeah. I had the privilege of being there and had the privilege of seeing Alphonso Davis's goal. Yeah, Yo is right. That's what I said. Actually, I didn't know my Apple Watch could go to 200 beats a minute, but it did when it went in. But we welcoming Qatar, Switzerland, and a team to be determined later that could be Italy. Could be Italy, could be Wales, could be Northern Ireland, could be Bosnia, right? Wow. Okay, whoever shows up, they're going to be fantastic. And we look forward to welcoming everyone. Look, I will just finish really where I started. Yeah, I'll say it's a moment of great pride for me as Prime Minister. On behalf of, if I may, the mayors of Toronto and Vancouver, absolutely exceptional world-class cities that are hosting. It's a moment of pride for us to be in the World Cup. It's a moment of pride to be welcoming the world. And it's a moment of pride and really joy to be sharing this experience, tonight's experience, and the World Cup experience with our dear neighbors, Mexico and the United States. So, merci tout le monde.